What's up, Tiger Gang? It's JT here from the Poco Moonshine family. This is Chatting with Carnivores. Today we got Neah. How you doing, Neah?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on today.
Yeah, I'm excited because you got a good story, and I personally can relate to you with all the IBS problems, and just constantly be in fear of like, man, what can I eat? Does this place have a bathroom? Is it close enough to the house? Because for me, I had to go. The only way that would alleviate the problem for me was like sitting in a hot tub or shower. So I didn't, I want to get in your story, but I just wanted to say right off the bat, I could completely relate to you. And I'm sure other people out there with IBS are going to totally relate to you. But let's start. Where are you from and where are you at, Neah?
I'm from Wisconsin. I grew up
Oh, really? Where are you
in
from?
Northwest Wisconsin. Yeah, so um, yeah, I love Wisconsin, but I've lived in several other states since then,
Mhm.
and now we're in Dallas Fort Worth area, Texas,
Okay, nice,
and we
nice.
just moved in April, so we're getting used to the.
From the north to the south.
Yeah, well, I lived in Florida for a number of years, and then Arkansas also. So I've kind of been in the South before, but more of the tropical environment. And so I'm getting used to it again now with the 100-degree days
Awesome.
every day and humidity. But yeah, it's nice. It's kind of got that little bit of a Midwestern feel too that I miss from up north. So
Yeah, I've been born and raised in Wisconsin. I mean, I've went on vacations, but yet to move out of here though. But can you take us back on your journey?
yeah, so it spans a long time. I'm 36 now, and I first started having what I would consider pretty severe gut pain and IBS symptoms in my mid to late teens, when I was in high school. And then it just was to kind of, there were a lot of just very uncomfortable symptoms and things that I was embarrassed about telling anyone about. And so I didn't really tell anyone about it. And I think that's part of the reason why it took me so long, to kind of get help and get healing from all of this. But I would say I started in my early 20s really looking at diet, because I just sort of had this almost intuitive feeling that if I could just figure out what to eat and what I was putting in my body that was causing me these problems, then I could get well.
Mhm.
And so I did see some doctors here and there throughout, my whole journey, but my primary focus really was just on learning about nutrition and diet and trying a bunch of different things, and then evaluating that and seeing how it made me feel. And so I started out I started reading some books, and one of the books that was given to me was The Blood Type Diet. And the premise was basically that, depending on whatever your blood type is, there's a specific diet that you should eat
Mm.
based on, how you're going to react to different foods. And so it told me that I should be vegetarian and I should stop eating meat and, focus on grains and legumes and whole grains and all that kind of stuff. And so I tried doing that, and it did not take me very long to realize that, everything was getting worse. Pain, bloating, gas, fatigue, brain fog. I mean, if you haven't experienced that kind of brain fog, I don't even know how else to describe it, but it's like there's just a shroud over your existence all the time. And I wouldn't really describe it necessarily as depression or anything, but it's just kind of like things come into your awareness and you're kind of like 3 seconds later going, what just happened? It's just kind of debilitating. And that was one of the things that got so much more intense for me when every time I tried to go plant-based, eating a lot of grains, a lot of like whole fruits and vegetables. I tried to eat whole food plant-based a number of times. So that was pretty much my early 20s. I was reading a lot of books and a lot of plant-based material, and I was convinced in my head that that was the healthiest diet and that should be working for me. And so I would try it, and then I would get really sick, and then I'd kind of go back off of it and then try it again. And I tried raw vegan, I think when I was like maybe 23 or 24. And that didn't go well either. And so I just my early 20s, I really struggled. And in my story that I put in the video on my channel, I talked about alcohol too, and that's the time when I was working in restaurants. I'd become a bartender, and so that was kind of part of the environment that I was in. But I started adding alcohol in at that point to kind of, numb some of the physical pain, but also some of the anxiety around food, and just like you were mentioning in the beginning, just the constant worry of what, if I eat, am I going to get sick? Where am I? Who's going to find out? Where can I go? And like the pain is so bad that, it kind of takes you out of whatever situation you're in. And so that caused me a lot of anxiety. So I was sort of self-medicating, in an unhealthy way to, work with that. And as the years went on, so I'd say in my mid-20s, then I realized, okay, this plant-based thing is not working for me. I was getting colonics at that time. I had found somebody who did those treatments, and so they are basically it's like doing a home enema, but in a professional setting. So someone, puts a tube up your bum and they flush out everything inside. And so it's, yeah. And, I think in certain circumstances there can be benefits for that, but this became something that I had to rely on then in order to feel like I was eliminating anything. And so I would go to these about once a week. This was probably for, maybe probably close to a year of doing that. And then, so I was getting some relief there, but still it was kind of like a Band-Aid, because I wasn't getting better, and I still wasn't able to, take care of things on my own. And so it just got to be another kind of stressor in my life, that this is what I'm going to have to do in order just to go to the bathroom. And right around that time as well was when I had a breakout of psoriasis, and I had like psoriasis all over my body. And that's when I sought out some help from a dermatologist, because obviously I didn't know, what to do about that. And she gave me some steroid cream, and then also told me that I needed to go out in the sun and expose my skin to the sun. Yeah, she whispered it to me, because so there were a bunch of medical students in there at my appointment. And so it was very kind of, everybody was taking their turns, like, looking at me and writing their notes, and it was very embarrassing. And
how fun.
And so, but after they left, then she kind of came up to me and she's like, I'm going to give you this cream, but, side note, we don't really tell people this, but you need to go out without sunblock on and expose your skin to the sun, and that's going to really help you. And so I thought, well, that's weird. Why does this have to be something that she waits to say until the students have left? And, it's kind of like, we don't really tell people this.
Yeah.
And there were a couple experiences I had like that, where someone was trying, I think they were trying to help, but they were afraid to say it, or they were afraid to, go against whatever protocol they were supposed to check off. And so those experiences stuck in my mind over time too, because I was like, there's got to be a natural way to deal with this, or, an input versus output way. What I'm putting in is causing this, or what I'm not putting in is causing this. And so how can I figure this out? Yeah, I'd say that time period was where a lot of bad, sort of incidents happened like that, with the psoriasis outbreak. And then the time that I was at work.
You were bartending too, right? And it kind of made it tough to do your job even.
Yeah, definitely. It's and they were very high paced volume places. And so there's a lot going on. You're responsible for a lot of money, managing people, not over serving. And, it's a very big tourism area where I was working. And so there was a lot of responsibility and long hours and no breaks. And so a pretty demanding job. And so it would definitely affect me. It would, I never really had any like major problems with like losing money or anything, making any big mistakes, but I could definitely tell on the days when I felt really bad that it was like, man, I can't remember what she just ordered, or man, I forgot to go get this and that. And I was just like, come on, turn on. And
That's the brain fog, right?
yeah. And so it would come and go. But yeah, there were times where I was just like, man, I feel so stupid, and it just always struck me as odd that, being the age that I was, why, and it didn't seem like anybody else was dealing with any of that. And so I was like, what is it about me? And you start to develop this kind of identity around yourself of like, oh, well, I'm just a sick person, or, oh, well, I'm just lazy, or I'm just tired all the time. And that's just the way I am.
I've had the same thoughts. So
yeah. And then, that's where, again, I would turn to alcohol a lot to kind of numb that psychological pain too. It's like, well, I have goals in my life. I don't want to be a bartender forever. I don't want to,
right.
I want to do something purposeful with my life that means something to me. But I could never seem to get the amount of focus and follow through that it would take to actually complete something, because of just always being tired and having the brain fog. And so, but yeah, right around that same time is when I went to the emergency room, because I was like crippled over in pain one day while I was at work. And I thought, like, there is something seriously wrong. And so I did go get a CAT scan, and it came back clear, like there was no obstruction or anything, which is.
It's funny you said that. Every time I went in for mine, they're like, everything's good. I don't know. Maybe it's in your head. I'm like, it feels like it's in my gut, my stomach, dude.
Yeah, it was like right here,
Yeah.
Yeah, and I understand that, they're there to do the scan, and they're not there to sit there and counsel me about what I should do. But same kind of feeling from the whole experience. It was like, well, you imagine that, go home and figure it out, or you're fine, kind of a thing. And so, yeah, that's when so all of those things together kind of made me realize, well, clearly trying to do this vegetarian, plant-based, lots of whole grains thing is just not working for me. Maybe it is the healthiest way to eat, but I can't do this anymore. And so I kind of took to the internet again, started reading some different things, and I found paleo. And that's when I really started jumping into that. And then the whole idea basically of an ancestral approach to health and nutrition. So it's like, what did we eat for the vast majority of our time on the planet? Can we mimic our diet in a way that, models that as close as we can? Obviously, we can't get 100%, but so, I mean, and that whole concept just clicked in my mind, and I was like, oh, no wonder, no wonder this way hasn't been working for me, because it's not, it's probably not the way most of us have eaten for the majority of our time on the planet. And so why would we be adapted to this? So let me try this way. And so that was the point when I cut out grains basically overnight. And I still ate like starchy carbs, like sweet potatoes and, like squash and zucchini and things like that. But I added in more meat and started understanding the whole idea that, like, oh, I can eat fat and it's not bad for me, and still there's, at the time I didn't realize saturated fat was okay, but it was like olive oil and, some things like that I hadn't been including really at all. And so I kind of played around with that, and I noticed a reduction in symptoms at that time. But then it kind of just plateaued. So it was sort of like, oh, a little bit of relief, but then just sort of on to, here's about the same frequency. I'm still having all these problems, constipation, all that kind of stuff. And so basically at that point, I just started thinking about, okay, well, and I don't really know where this came from, but I just thought, like, I just need to continue to remove things until I find out what I can tolerate. And so I kind of started doing that. And the problem is with stuff like this too, is you can eat something on a Monday and it might not give you a symptom until Thursday or next week or something. At least that's the way I would, when I've tried to add things back in now, I noticed that that's the case a lot of times. And so that's, I think, why it took me again so long to realize things that were actually hurting me is because I would eat something and then like, oh, within 24 hours, if I didn't have a stomach ache or I wasn't constipated or have diarrhea, then that food must be okay.
And you
But
keep
then
going.
in reality, it's like, oh, it might be 3, 4, 5 days down the road before it actually like moves through my system enough to cause a problem. And so, so basically that's how I ended up at keto, and then like less than 10 grams a day, where I was just eating meat and salad greens and like cucumbers, olives, bell peppers, I think, which, are still a nightshade, which I probably should have realized. But, and then I remember one day I was in the kitchen and I was just like, because I think the day before I had eaten just like a piece of steak or a piece of chicken or something, like just meat by itself.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't have any immediate negative reaction to that. And so the following day I made my big regular salad and I was about to eat this and I just stopped and I thought, like, maybe meat's the only thing I can eat. Like, it just had never occurred to me that these plants or like this organic arugula salad mix was part of the problem still, and like maybe meat is the only thing that I can tolerate. And so I remember like taking the meat off the salad and just like eating that. And that's when I started, just trying to eat meat, and then went back to the internet and realized, oh, this is a carnivore diet, and Michaela Peterson popped up, and Zero Carb Zen, that blog popped up. And there are people who have been eating this way and have healed from very similar things, autoimmune stuff and gut issues and stuff like I had. And so I thought, okay, there's some light here, like there's some hope here. Because that's, you get to that place where you're like, I'm a sick person. I'm always going to be sick. I'm just going to be managing this. And there's no hope for me to actually get better unless I go traditional, Western route and get on a biologic or get surgery or get, go on these treatments that are going to affect my immune system and have side effects. And I don't want to do that. And so you just kind of get to this place of there's no hope for me. And that day I was like, oh, there is some hope, like there are people who have healed and maybe I can, find some energy. So I ate that way for about 11 months. But I was still drinking. I still was working in restaurants, and I drank more than, is healthy probably for anyone to do on a regular basis, and had some emotionally stressful times during that period. And that's when I really was confronted with what I think a lot of people realize when they go to zero carb or carnivore, is that you recognize your food addiction because you're not craving carbs anymore. You're not craving the food. You're physically so satiated and satisfied that you're not hungry. But it's like, why am I turning to these chips still? Why am I turning to this drink still? Why am I turning, to this cheesecake every 6 weeks? Or, I have something happen in my life that stresses me out, and my first reaction is to go buy something to eat. And I think at the time, I wasn't ready to accept it. I wasn't really ready to say, like, Neah, this is a reality. Like, you have an issue with this and you need to look at it. I could see it, but I wasn't ready to really look at it. And so I was pretty strict with the diet in general, but there would be these binges that would still happen every couple of months or so. And then you feel the guilt and you're, why can't I stop doing this? And so it just kind of, it's that cycle that keeps repeating. And then I got pregnant, and that of course changes everything. And so I had, I was sick and nauseous, and everything looked and smelled and tasted disgusting. And, cold turkey quitting alcohol. I stopped drinking coffee, and meat smelled disgusting to me. And so I kind of just fell back. Like, I had been making so much progress because all of my gut symptoms had gone away. Even though I was still drinking a lot, I was never bloated. Probably about the third month or so, I would say, 99% of all of my gut symptoms were gone. No gas, no bloating, no pain, no weird like things coming out of me. I had loose stools for, during the transition period, but then I was having like regular solid bowel movements, normal every day or two, and it wasn't painful, nothing, it was like a miracle, it's like a night and day difference. The brain fog was going away. I was like fast and on it at my job. I felt like I could handle a lot, and even stress. I felt like my stress tolerance went up, where things would trigger me less.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, there also happened to be a lot of extra stuff during that time too. So it was overall, it was just like such a night and day difference that it was amazing. But then when I got pregnant, it was like, oh, like now I'm back to this, like feeling tired, and everything looks gross to me. I couldn't even look at ground beef or steak or chicken or anything. All I wanted was like potatoes. And so I basically went, my first and second trimester, I really, really struggled because I didn't want to eat the foods, but I couldn't even be around smelling a lot of stuff. It's gross. And so, and then I kind of just gave up, it's like, I have to eat, I have to, grow this baby. And I was taking some ancestral supplements at the time. So like the desiccated liver and collagen and some things like that. I think it was just like beef tallow in a pill. And so I was trying to get, still the nutrition into my body and everything. But
did you eat any meat when you were pregnant?
I did. Yeah. I'd say probably about halfway through the second trimester, I started feeling better. And so I ate basically a low fiber diet is what I ate for the rest of that. So I did eat meat and like white rice, some low fiber, low sugar fruit and vegetables. And then there was definitely some processed stuff mixed in there, I'll be honest, I was not perfect by any stretch of the imagination, but I got through it, did my best. We have a beautiful, healthy, now 3-year-old little girl. She's brilliant. She's amazing. So, but then, so since she was born, I just struggled to get back to it. And I felt like I maybe had some kind of like gestational diabetes sort of thing. Like my blood sugars just went crazy after, I think, being so low carb and then adding all these carbs back in. And then I think pregnancy, sometimes there's some people who talk about like insulin resistance kind of being a part of pregnancy to a certain degree. And so I was tracking my blood sugar and all that stuff towards the end, and I was like, I just got to get through this, So it's taken me till now to kind of really commit and say, I need to prioritize my health again. I need to be in good shape again. I need to feel better mentally, all that stuff. And so I've recommitted, and now I'm almost at 30 days. Tomorrow's my 30-day of being
wow.
So I had like 3 months of 80% or so. And then I was like, okay, now I'm ready. I'm going so this is my first 30 days ever with no carbs and no alcohol.
Good for you. Congratulations. Yeah. I'm proud of you. I know what that is. When I drank, I put about 17 beers away at a time, and it was getting to be too many. It was just too many.
Yeah. And I don't think it's good for our guts either, No. I mean, I think we all know that, and it messes with your electrolytes, and especially if you're on low carb carnivore, it's like your tolerance goes down, which is a good thing. But, I know it was probably messing with my electrolyte balance and all that kind of stuff. And so that's one thing I've noticed now in this 30 days of being strict is like, I feel like I'm craving salt like nobody's freaking business.
Me too.
I put tons. I think, who was I listening to that you interviewed recently? Was it who said they didn't use electrolytes at all? Or was that you?
I haven't really used electrolytes really?
Okay. I put so much salt on everything, and I put like electrolyte mix in my water all day, every day. And there's days where I feel like I just can't get enough, you know?
Yeah,
So
I
I don't
used
know
to tons
exactly.
before carnivore. Like I was always like lethargic and stuff, but ever since carnivore, man, I feel like a Ginsu blade. Like I'm just sharp as can be, you know? I love it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can relate to with that stuff, the drinking and the smoking. And I just got to a point where I'm like, dude, I got to decide that I love myself and my life and this experience itself, life. I got to decide that I love this experience more than this junk that is just going to take me right out of this experience. And that's why I always tell people the power of a decision, you know, it's very powerful. Like
Yeah,
you've got a
totally.
kid and one day your kid might have kids and you'll be a grandparent, and then their kids will have kids, and that all came from that one decision. Decisions are very powerful. I tell people that all
Yeah.
the time. But what does a week of eating carnivore eating look like for you? What do you eat in a week?
Right now, I keep it really simple. I'm eating, I'd say 90% of my diet is ground beef and butter. I
Mm-hmm.
I was eating quite a bit of bacon, and I love bacon, but I've been trying to just like test it to see how I do without it, because I know some people talk about the nitrates and all that stuff, and I don't know if that affected me. So I kind of started out my 30 days strict with doing beef, butter, bacon. I don't ever seem to crave eggs for some reason, and
Really, I
so I
love them.
rarely eat eggs, which I find a little weird too. But that was something that lingered after pregnancy. I like eggs grossed me out during that time, and I just sort of like, I could take it or leave it. So I'd say 90%, 80/20 ground beef, and I will cook that up and let it like sit out on a platter and come to room temp, so the fat kind of solidifies
Mm.
on the little chunks, and then I'll kind of make them into like little tiny mini chunk patty things, and
Oh,
then I'll just kind of like scoop up the fat and eat it that way, or I'll put some butter on it and then salt.
mm.
And we do eat some chicken and some pork, but I would say that's, yeah, maybe 10 to 20% of my diet in a week, and the rest is beef.
Yeah, I eat a lot of eggs. I don't. I just obsessed with scrambled eggs right now. Past couple of days, I've had like a full carton. Can't get
See,
enough.
I love that. I love to watch people like, yeah, dozen eggs in the pan. Like, here I go. That's so awesome.
Yeah. I do got some questions for you.
Okay.
So, have any of those issues that you went over improved at all on carnivore?
Yeah, and again, I kind of have these two separate experiences now, but I mean the round one, as I call it, I mean everything got better. Digestive symptoms went away, brain fog basically went away. I mean, I don't know, I'll be finding out without the alcohol now how good it can get, but again, like night and day. My skin cleared up. I've always kind of had like a slight sort of rosacea or just like very sensitive skin. I have to be really, really careful with the products I use and all that kind of stuff,
Detergent and stuff.
makeup and yeah, all that kind of like scents really can irritate me. If anything, like hair products even are
So
scented,
you
it
need
can like
the
kind of
scent free
inflame me.
stuff.
Yeah, for the most part, I can't really use like even hairspray or hair products, like if they have a smell sometimes or if they get on my skin. So like hypersensitive skin and just very prone to like flushing and redness and stuff like that. And that took a while in round one to go away. It was probably about like month 9 or 10 when I was like, man, like my skin looks good. Just washing it, no makeup, it's
You
really
got the
starting to
glow.
even out and stuff. And that did come back when I was pregnant. And so it's not nearly as like everything that I experience now is probably like 30 to 40% at its worst of what it was before I ever went carnivore. And so that just kind of shows the power of, even though I wasn't perfect and I only did it for, just under a year and then kind of went back to non-carnivore eating, I only experienced symptoms like 30 to 40% as much as they would have been.
Oh,
And so that's kind of what also got me into this thought of, oh, well, maybe I can be ketovore, or maybe I can just do keto and have more variety in plants and have a cheat day now and then and stuff. But over the last year, I would say, I've had some psoriasis come back. I've had some, just skin irritation and things like that. And then I will get like some IBS type stuff again, constipation or diarrhea, depending on what I do. And so that's kind of when, again, I was like, I need to recommit to this. I need to go back to eating full carnivore and just allow myself to continue to heal. And so over the last 3 months of being pretty close to strict, I would say, like my energy has slowly started to come back. My sleep has been rocky just because I have a little one, and we nursed for a long time. And so it was kind of, you're just kind of like, you wake up at the drop of a hat every during the night all the time. And so I know that's part of it, but I think my sleep could improve still. So I'm kind of excited to see progress on that as I go along. But I would say my reliance on coffee has gone way down. And so I know that my energy is starting to come back, and the clarity and focus and ability to like manage all the tasks and stuff is getting better. I used to drink like a pot of coffee a day.
Really?
And now I'm down to like 3, sometimes 4 cups, but probably less than half of what I was drinking. So
it's a process.
Yeah. But yeah, my gut symptoms are very much improved. It's nothing compared to what it used to be. My skin, I
like
still have a little.
you're getting some of your life back a little bit.
Yeah, it is kind of when I talked about that cloud. I think I described it as apathy in my healing journey video. It's just kind of like things are happening to you, and then in one way you feel a response to it, like an emotional response, but it's muted. It's just like I feel like I should feel angry about this, or I should feel happy about this, or I should be, this should be a bigger deal to me than sometimes it is. And yeah, it's kind of hard to describe, but that is almost gone now. Just like I wake up and I feel like I want to get up, and I'm excited to, wash the dishes and do laundry and take care of my baby, and like just do the simple things, and find joy in that. And that's something I really struggled with for a long time, was
Me too.
Feeling like, I always have to be doing something incredible to kind of
something big, right?
Yeah, to like have a good sense of worth, and like I'm doing something, and yeah, now I've just, it's even been over the last like few days, I've noticed a change even more, where it's like a switch just turns on, and you're like, oh, I'm just perfectly content standing here washing dishes or coloring with my little girl, like just
we were doing chalk the other day in the backyard on the concrete. Like, yeah, it's because like I had a near-death experience, and it's like when you almost die, you realize like, oh man, like
what matters.
Yeah, what matters is playing with chalk in the backyard and doing the stuff that you might not be able to do if you would have passed, But Just Too Much Crap says, started watching Neah's story several days ago. Very honest and inspirational. Yes, she is. She's a beacon of light. That's why she's on here. I really try to only have very positive people. Why would we want anybody else on here, right? Carnivore Soldier, hoo-ha. Great series, bro. Love these interviews. Neah has a great story. Yeah, it's a great series because these are great people, and they're putting themselves out there, and they're trying to lead by example. And also she's here live in the flesh. So if you got questions, put them in there. Make sure you guys put a Q. Make sure you guys put a Q before it, so I know it's a little easier to read the questions then. Food for thought. What's up, Anthony? Big hello, just tuning in while cooking my steak and eggs. Good for you, bro. That guy, I tell you, he's a nutrition expert if you need any nutrition tips. He really is. But I got some more questions for you.
Okay.
Air Carnivore RN says, amen. Yep. She's got a great story, guys. Air Carnivore RN. Finding joy, definitely. Yep. it gets easier. You get your momentum, and you're like, man, I'm starting to. Because when you don't feel good, it takes away your quality of life. And then you get these thoughts too. You're like, well, I'm this young. Why am I feeling like this? And then I see people who are like in their 80s sitting at the restaurant eating a plate full of stuff. I'm like, really? Really? Then you
Yeah.
think you're like damaged goods, or you just have really, for me, I had really just negative, depressing thoughts about myself that, maybe there is something wrong with me. Maybe I am going to pass early, all this nonsense. And it's just
Yeah, absolutely.
eating the wrong stuff could just totally, that's why I'm doing this. It's so important for someone to hear this. And if they could relate, they're like, okay, maybe these two have a tip for me that I could, do. Speaking of tips, what are 3 good tips for your fellow carnivores?
Oh, I would say, starting out, if you're, embarking on this way of eating, and this is something I learned now round 2 that I'm applying more than I did the first time, is slow and steady wins the race mentality. I'm not looking for overnight results. I'm not looking for, oh, I'm going to feel like $1,000,000, completely different person tomorrow. I'm giving myself grace to just progress as quickly as I can, what's reasonable, and push myself a little bit, but not go crazy, like trying to cut out the coffee. And as an example, for me right now, it's like
Mm-hmm.
I just cut out alcohol, I've cut out all these foods. Like,
Good
I'm
for
going to
you.
give myself a few months to adjust to that and really see, like, okay, now we've done that for 90 days. Now how do I feel? And really just tune into that. So I would say, number one, just be willing to work with yourself and go at the pace that suits you for your history and the struggles that you personally have, whether it's addiction to foods or, anything else or whatever it might be. So, number 2, I would say, uh, try to spend as much time as you can outside during your, especially in the beginning when you're healing and you're adapting. um, Getting sunlight. You don't have to go,
Fresh air.
out. Yeah, fresh air, some movement. Like, that's one thing that's kind of sad for me right now. It's so hot outside. Like, you can't even enjoy going out for a walk. Even at night, it's still like 90 degrees and humid. And so it's like, man, I can't wait for like a month from now and I can just,
Mm-hmm.
like, so just getting outside and with no earbuds, like no podcasts on, and just having some quiet time in nature, I think is so healing and can be so restoring when you're sick and you're having
Mm-hmm.
some of the negative self-talk or anything like that. Just connecting with nature,
Yep,
is
grounding.
a big
Keep yourself
one.
grounded with
Yeah.
Mother Earth. Very important.
uh Number 3, I would say, Um, I would, I guess on the flip side of that, stay as connected to this community as you can. I definitely take quiet time and social media free time for yourself is very important. But then, most of what I do on social media is just listening to other carnivore stories, content, learning, and I'm also kind of into fitness. And so I, consume a lot of that, and just really immersing yourself in whatever strikes you as the most interesting aspect of the diet, whether it's the biochemistry and the BART-K type of stuff, or, there's so many great stories and influencers out there now, or
Mm-hmm.
influencers, I don't know if that's the right word, but maybe advocates for this way, that you
Right.
can find somebody that you vibe with, and I would just try to stay as connected to other people, you know, or a community for support, because that's really helpful, especially if you're the only one in your family doing it, or,
Yeah.
people are maybe in your life are giving you a hard time about it or something. The support and hearing other people's stories really helps.
We do have a question here. Eric Carnivore RN says, question, any tips you guys have on buying meat? I'm usually getting Whole Foods, but I need much cheaper long term. Yeah. Do you have any tips for him? And also, do you think the carnivore diet's expensive?
I actually put out a couple videos now on my channel about frugal or budget carnivore meal prep, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
starting to share like the per ounce cost for all of the meats that I buy and how I break them down. And so That's a great question, because I think that's probably a common perception that, oh, this is going to be really expensive. And I don't believe that it is. I think I actually save money by cutting out all the, like, especially for kids. If, if you're buying like the prepackaged, goldfish crackers, or all these little snack things and stuff, and like you remove all of that, and then you just are buying as like the biggest bulk cuts that you feel comfortable breaking down at home, or the best deals you can get are the best deals that you can get, in my opinion. So I buy those big giant 10-pound rolls of ground beef and just break them up. Some of them I season if other people are going to eat, the seasonings. And then I just put them in freezer bags and put them in the freezer and pull them out every day or two. And right now I shop at Walmart, and I know
Walmart.
that's not, everybody has their feeling about Walmart, but
most carnivores I've interviewed are going to Walmart. So
yeah, or Sam's, or the bulk
that's
stores. I
too.
just can't. Right now, our vehicle's down, and so I can't like drive all the way out to some of these bigger box stores. So I just get my stuff delivered. It's easy, and then I break it down and just package it however in whatever portion sizes is what we need. And yeah, I'm trying to think of like an exact number maybe for how much. I'm putting together a video, and I think I'll put that up, like 30 days, how much I spent in 30 days for like this meeting, like how many pounds and then how much it costs, because yeah, I think it's very affordable if you remove all the other junk and replace it with meat.
Please do that video and show us the way. Show us Neah's way. Just too much crap. Neah has a great video on eating a budget with meat from Walmart. Yep, we were just mentioning that. Yep, thanks. Yeah, he says thanks for answering that. Yeah, she's giving great advice. Such great advice. Yes, you guys are taking the words right out of my mouth here. I do want to pull up your channel real quick here.
Sure.
Share the screen, click this button, click this one, and boom, like magic, here we are. You guys, make sure you go smash that subscribe button. Like, it's a break the thumb too on her on this video. Make sure you like this video, because when you like her story, it helps it get out there to more people. Share it on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, wherever. Like, share her interview here, and somebody out there is waiting to see this, man, and they need you guys to spread this, because I smash that subscribe button here. I've been talking about the collective mind theory, and it's like, we're only a small portion, but if we keep getting one person to add, and that bulb keeps getting brighter and brighter, and pretty soon we can illuminate even the people who are still in the darkness, and then show them the way. But we all just need to keep hearing one story at a time, keep learning. See, you were talking about you like listen to people, and I really believe there's something to learn from everybody, including Neah here. Carnivore Soldier, make ground beef and eggs your base, and steaks and bacon, which you can afford. Yep, that's good advice too, bud. She's just not a big egg fan, right?
I want to be. Like, I know.
Give it time.
But yeah, I do like the yolks. I do like the yolks, yeah, but the whites, I think it might be the whites that are not vibing with me very well.
Yeah, some people, it just upsets their stomach, so they kind of strain it out of there. Food for thought. Anthony, best quality you can afford. Yep, that's true. If you can only afford hot dogs and stuff, eat them up, man. Get the beef. Try to get all, grass-fed beef hot dogs. Like, just try your best, and that's still better than the tub of ice cream. That's still better than smoking the pot like I was, and it's better than drinking the beers, you know what I'm saying, like I was. I'm telling you, Neah, there could have been nobody losing worse than I was, honestly. Like, I just did not. I had sleep apnea, refused to get the machine. And I say this because I don't want you to beat yourself up. I was just a loser in all ways. I didn't think well of myself. I didn't feel good. I drank so much, smoked so much. I just, but it can all change. You just got to give yourself a chance. And my coach taught me there is no such thing as luck. Lucky people seem lucky because they're making good decisions every day. And that adds up to a momentum, a flow. And that you just got to get your flow going. And once you get it going, woo,
watch out.
It's like a snowball coming down. Watch out. Exactly.
Yeah. Yep. That's
Eric
great.
Carnivore RN. I got to the Navy base commission, but the steak seems to be super low quality. Okay. You guys make sure you slide some comments in here while she's here. I mean, well, you guys are sliding comments, but some questions, I mean. Oh, I wanted to ask you, what are some good female voices in the carnivore scene that you look up to?
I love Judy Cho, Nutrition with Judy is
I
her
just heard
channel.
about her yesterday. What
Mhm.
can you talk about her for a minute? Like,
Her story is I mean, I cry every time I hear her tell her story. It's
really?
very emotional, and she has an incredible. She was plant-based for a long time and struggled really hard with an eating disorder and her mental health, and so and she found this way of eating too, and she gets for the people who really like the technical nutrition, like, and kind of branching off into knowing what's in every food and how to balance things. And she puts out great content, a lot of posts too, not just videos, like really good graphics that make it visual for people like me that need like the
Mm-hmm.
visual
Me too.
chart of what you're saying, kind of. So she's really great. Laura Spath is another one who's been on YouTube for a long time. I think she lost over 150 pounds or something like that,
What's
120
her
pounds maybe.
What's her last name?
Spath, I believe it's Spath.
Spath. Okay, like a bath, but Spath. Okay, I got you.
Yeah. I follow Steak and Butter Gal,
Steak and
Bella.
butter. Yeah, I've heard of her.
It's a good channel. Carnivorous Me, Amanda from
I've
Carnivorous Me. I
I've
really like her channel.
heard of her.
Who else? That's a lady.
This is a lady shout out tonight here. This is ladies' night for carnivores.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think I've just heard a lot of like on Nutrition with Judy, she has a lot of interviews with Kelly Hogan, of
Okay.
course, is the other long term, and she does a group coaching, and she started bringing on some of her coaching clients to share their stories too, and and a lot of them are women, and so I find those stories so compelling too, because I'm sure everybody, regardless, men or women, have restriction issues or issues with body image and stuff. But I mean, man, you hear these women who have just suffered for decades. A lot of them are in their 50s and 60s, or sometimes even older, and their whole lives they've been restricting calories and limiting fat and just miserable. Hormones are just out of whack, and just it's just, again, it just makes me cry to hear how long people have suffered, and then they're now finding this way of eating, and they just can't believe how everything's turned around. And they, kind of the theme of the conversation, you get your life back. You
Mhm.
get your mind back, and your emotions stabilize, and you can enjoy things. And so, yeah, I've listened to a lot of female stories. And
That's why your voice is important too. You know what I'm saying? I just wanted to pick your brain for the other ladies watching. They can get some other names too. Maybe they haven't heard, but they're going to add you on the list too. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Food for thought, Anthony. Lots of people are sensitive to egg white. Yep. Yeah, I've been hearing that. I'm not sure what that is. Chill out, admin. I refuse sleep apnea machine too. Yeah, but if you need it, man, please use it. Don't be dumb like me. It's not cool. It's not smart. I almost lost my life. Use it till you don't need it, because some of them count how many times you stop sleep or breathing in the night. And if it goes down to zero, that should give you some confidence, that, if you're on carnivore and heading in the right direction. But please, if you need it, use it. Don't do like I did, please. Think Soldier was responding to me about eggs and beef and stuff. Okay, okay. Yeah, I want to put up your channel one more time here. Boom, right here. Guys, make sure you subscribe over there, because she's gonna be out here and giving great advice, in like I said, being that beacon of light for other carnivores and other people who can relate to her and stuff like that. Uh do you feel like you're the captain of your own ship again, Neah?
Yeah, I mean, I would say more so than ever, especially giving up the alcohol.
That's tough.
That was hard, you know. And I mean,
But you're tougher though.
it's like, so maybe the last year or two, it's not been to where I was relying on it like I did maybe in my early and mid 20s and stuff like that. But it was still something that I was like, I can just have, a drink or two, and it's not a problem. But there was this little voice in the back of my mind that was like, you know, but how good could you feel if you did at least try, a period of
Mhm.
time without it and stuff. And so that was kind of the last little nagging, irritating voice that I didn't want to recognize. It's like, yeah, you did it for a while. Now you need to do it while you're also cutting out the foods and all of it together. And so that really it's helped me. I've been thinking about it in terms of building a new relationship with myself. It's almost like I how do I want to describe it? It's like, yeah, just meeting myself again for the
I was gonna
first
say
time. It's like,
finding yourself
who
again.
is Neah without all of this extra stuff that I'm using to deal with my stress or emotions or whatever it might be, whether it's food or anything else. And so that's something I've been just really meditating on, and I've um, just really gotten back in touch with my spiritual side as well over the last 30 days. I would say just really leaning on things outside of my own understanding, so to speak. It's like I don't have to have every single answer nailed out in order to make a decision for myself, about whether I should stick to this diet or not, or how strict I should be. It's like, just really tune in and listen to that, and then don't be afraid to follow it.
Are you gonna continue the carnivore diet?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, me too. I said, well, I'll see how I feel after 30 days. I can do it for 30 days. It's if I tell myself I'm gonna do something, I'll do it. It's a matter of time. But then I was like, man, I got the 30 days. I was like, I feel amazing.
Mhm.
Now I just did 60 the other day. I'm at like 62 or 63. I just feel, man, I'm like, there's no way I can keep feeling better, but keep losing weight. Now I see you got some tattoos. How many tattoos?
Oh, well, I guess if you count this says one and this is one, there's two there, plus a few more.
Yeah, I've got a couple myself, and if I see them, people like to talk tattoos. So, any special one you got that sticks out to you more than the other ones?
Um, I don't know. I've kind of there's sort of a timeline, I guess, for me. Like
Hmm.
uh the themes or the imagery that they represent is sort of like a time period in my life. And so when I don't really know that I have a favorite, but it's kind of nice to be like, oh yeah, this was that time in my life, and this was that time in my life, and it
Yeah, it's like a
kind of
story.
yeah.
Like I got this one, this I got you. The
Mhm.
carnivore is powerful. I started at 715. You really? Are you serious? I am currently at 490 pounds. Carnivore saved my life. Are you serious? Hit my emails in my about section on my channel. I manually wrote it in there for you guys. Like, please email me. I'd love to help you share your story too, because that's incredible story right there. Isn't that crazy, Nia? That's amazing.
Yeah, that makes me think of Bill.
Yeah.
Bill up in Alaska. I mean, well, I don't know. Didn't he say he was probably around
Yeah, he said he wasn't
that
sure
much?
and he wasn't sure anymore. And shout out to Bill. I just had bacon burgers tonight. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I watched that video too. I was like, why
Dude,
have I
that guy is the
forgotten?
next master chef. As soon as he gets the hell out of that little hut, we are gonna get
Oh,
him. I'm telling you, he is gonna be. I'm telling you, people don't even know. Like, and I maybe he doesn't want to do that, but I could just see him doing his thing and just totally shocking people with the
yeah,
skill he has. We your angle, his angle, Carrie's angle, my angle, everybody has their own story of how they came to carnivore and why they came to carnivore, and why they want to get healthy. You know what I'm saying? What's your reason why you want to get healthy besides not feeling good? What's your do you have or is it just the love of your, love of life? What is your reason why?
Yeah, since I was really young, I've always had like a sense of drive in a way, like there is something powerful that I'm supposed to be doing with my life. And that that was so I just struggled with that for so many years, feeling sick. Like I know that I need energy in order to figure out what it is that I'm supposed to do here and have the dedication and the drive and the persistence and everything it takes to, create that. And so and maybe this is what it is. I don't know, like trying to help people. I mean, I feel like that's what it is right now. Is I look around and I see people suffering, and they just have this way of eating has never occurred to them, has never been told to them, or it's such a foreign idea that um you know they look at you like you have two heads when you say what you're
Mm-hmm.
eating. But I've always had something on my heart to do, to serve humanity in some way. And so I feel like now that I've got my health under control and I'm continually getting better and I've dealt with my demons, so to speak, I can show up as my true self in whatever I do. And now, of course, I have my little girl. And so it's like, that's a huge motivator too, you know.
Wait till she starts helping you out. You have two little beacons of light out there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's amazing. Like, I'm telling you, like, there's just, you can and you are going to help a lot of people, because there's a lot of people in a dark place. And, it's like being out at sea and you see that lighthouse that's spinning light, and you go towards it because you're just in a storm. You're in a darkness. And I think it's important for us. That's what this story is. You're putting this story out there, and it's going out there to all this darkness, you know what I'm saying, as a beacon of light. And it's going to attract somebody who was like, man, I saw that, Neah, or I heard your story, and thank you for sharing that, because that's there's going to be someone who relates to you. And that's what this is for. Like, and it's my coach, he wanted to change the world one mind at a time. God bless his heart, because he knew about the collective mind theory. And I
Mm-hmm.
feel like I want to pick up right where he left off, and keep doing one story at a time. The Carnivore Cure. I
Mm-hmm.
just started this channel. Okay, yeah, Bill. So Bill could see it. Yes, Bill. He's a big inspiration. Everybody I have on this series is a big inspiration. Like I just was like, man, I want to reach out to Neah and I want to get to know her. I want to hear her story. She needs to be shining more to everybody. You know what I'm saying? Because we all need it. Nice, nice. Yes, you guys. And then let's pull up your channel one more time. Okay, Neah? I really want to make sure people get the word out here. Guys, make sure you go subscribe to Neah's channel, Neah's Way, right here. Smash that subscribe button. Wow, she's on her way to 4,000 subs. She is not playing around, guys. And is that yoga I see her into?
Yeah. I've been practicing for over 10 years. I started
Wow.
out taking classes, but then I've kind of just been doing YouTube yoga. And so I'd like to, I'm just struggling right now to put videos. I'd like to put some classes out for, like gentle mobility, flexibility type of stuff, because I think that's helpful when you're healing too, is not to go like crazy hard intensity, kind of give your body that, flexibility work and stuff. But I'm struggling to get, like, I guess, time to do all the voiceovers and things like that to put out something of quality. So I'm kind of just showing what I'm doing.
Sometimes less is more. I just tell you
Yeah.
my personal experience. Like I put some videos, I put in so much damn work on, like you said, voiceovers, editing, all this other stuff, intros, subscribe buttons, and then crickets. And then me and my wife just sit in the back and watch our son run around us while we give an update video for Carnivore, just sitting on my ass, one take, and then it does just fine. So it's
Way
like
better. Yeah.
my coach
Yeah.
taught me, like you want to be relaxed. We're like a garden hose, and the energy cannot flow through us to get our results that we want if we're kinked and tight and frustrated or mad or upset or
Right.
something. We need to just take that deep breath and then just relax and then be a good chat. You still take effective action. You know, we still make our video, you know, still hit the record, but then just relax, you know, just try
Yeah.
it. Sometimes, you know, just talking to the camera, you know, like you've been doing is just, I love that video. You just sit there and talk. Like, it was awesome video. And I hope you guys like it too. She's got a lot of great content. So make sure you guys subscribe. Great story. Hopefully you'll be showing the kid in there sometime, some more, you know, just shove them in the camera once in a while.
Yeah.
Yeah. I try
Yep.
to do that with my son. How old
Yeah.
is she? 3, you said?
Yep.
What's her
Three,
name?
almost 3.5. Her name's Ileana,
Oh, that's a
and
very pretty
funny,
name.
it means the root of it means light, and so
Oh,
that's
wow. See, now
yeah.
there is no such thing as coincidence. That's just the universe speaking, you
Yep.
know? Yeah, that is awesome. You guys, I had an awesome time with Neah. I know you guys did too. We are gonna have you back for an update, right? Hopefully.
Yeah, yeah, I'd love to. It's been
Okay,
awesome
cool.
chatting with you, and
Yeah, and then we can see how she's doing, what she's and how many more tattoos she might have, all sorts of stuff. But Leah, thank you for stopping by. And I
yeah,
always say,
appreciate it.
the first law of learning is repetition. So please replay this over. Your mind might drift for 20, 30 seconds, then you miss something very important that Nia said, because there's value in her and there's value in her story. So please repeat it and replay it, and like button, share, all that good stuff for Nia so her story gets out there. All right, guys. Thank you so much. Thank you, Nia. I had fun. I can't wait till you
Thanks for
come
having
back.
me.
I'll
Thanks,
do my
everybody.
duck face on my way out, guys.